Hello, everyone. So, before we get started, I wanted to tell you that Kathy is at a work conference, so she will not be joining. And our special guest is here.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm okay.
I
So, our special.
apologize. I'm actually in a local restaurant. I was in meetings all. I'm going to try to get my. Here you
Go
go.
the other way.
Okay.
That's it.
Um, yeah, I was in a local meeting. I was in a meeting and I had to just jump into a restaurant and get online in order to talk to you today. I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay. No, that's
Just
wonderful.
busy times. Yeah. How are
That's
you?
all.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, we're here with Gail Taylor, who is production designer. And for When Calls a Heart last season, but
Last
we
season and season 9 as well.
okay. All
Yeah.
right, so 9 and 10. All right. So how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm sorry, I'm a little whew, rushed. I've got to just kind of calm down and enjoy the
Deep breath.
conversation.
Take a deep breath. We're all
Thank
good. So
you.
my partner who usually comes on with me, she's at a work conference. So
No
she
worries.
having something special. So I have to fly solo, which is fine.
Uh,
But I thought it would be nice if our guests had an opportunity to just learn a little bit about your background. Like how does one even get to do something like this? It's pretty amazing.
well, I have had kind of a long background in film and TV. I started off when I was about 17, 18 as a makeup artist. So I
Mm.
lived in London for a couple years, and then I got into doing special effects. And I ended up moving to Los Angeles when I was 20. And I did that for about 10 years. And then I sort of realized that the sort of the fun jobs were the ones that were really busy, keeping really busy. So I started getting into directing. And while I was directing, and be it in Los Angeles at that time as a woman, and it was very difficult to be a director. So I needed a day job, and so the day job, I started designing parties. I had a lot of friends that were actors that catered and all that. So I started designing parties, and then that career grew and grew and grew. And so I ended up doing about 10 years where I did really large events um, in Los Angeles, which was really fun. And then my money, I kind of, as I made money, I kind of kept investing it back into making my own little films and doing my own little thing. But
Cool.
I always loved the sets. I always loved designing as a director, I always was more interested in the set design and what it looked like than working with the actors per se. I really enjoyed that process. So I went and took a couple of courses at UCLA in production design, and then I had a little baby, and we moved here in 2002 now to Vancouver, and then started working back in film and television. And so I sort of did a road where I kind of went and did a lot of reality shows. So I did Love It or List It, and those kind of renovation makeover shows. Bachelorette I worked on, and so that kind of got me back into the world of filmmaking. Um, and then, a few years kind of go, sort of said, okay, now I'm really going to get more and more into doing production design. And then went into, sorry, okay?
Okay.
And then started getting into working on MOWs and Hallmark movies, and then that led me to When Calls the Heart. So it all kind of was this long and winding road. Been doing it a long time.
Someone is saying we have guests here and they can comment in the chats. Her name is Barbara and she says she used to watch Love It or List It.
Oh, well, I was the behind the scenes designer. So, yeah, I was the one that was madly, crazily doing all the renovations. So,
Oh
yeah,
gosh. Oh
yeah.
gosh. That's like a secret. Like you don't even realize like how
I
much work is going on back there.
Yeah, well, it was, real renovations. I mean, 6 weeks full on gutting a house and real renovations. So
Oh my
you
gosh.
can't be on TV and be a host and do that as well.
No, no.
That would be
Doesn't
crazy. So, yeah.
Now, there were a few I saw. I know there was a Hallmark Christmas movie I saw in your credits. So what movies were you involved with, like for
I've
Hallmark?
done a few. do. So I've done, I think they all have Christmas in the title somewhere. So I think it was, the last one was Christmas bedtime stories.
Yes.
I did my Christmas list, my Christmas dream, something like that. I did another sort of Lifetime movie called Dying to Belong.
Okay.
Um, there was another Christmas movie I did.
Now, when
Yeah.
you do you actually, because sometimes I know they film inside of houses. So if they're filming inside of a house, do you have to come in and do anything like set up anything for the house?
Oh,
Or
oh yeah. Oh, for
yes.
sure. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of times, depending on, can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay,
We're
great.
good.
A lot of times it depends on who the character is. So,
Mm,
for example, we did bedtime stories and we filmed in this beautiful house, but in the kitchen, the walls were really dark, like brick, like really old world brick.
right,
And,
right.
you know, it just wasn't the character. The character was, she was just a single mom and she was very beautiful and had, you know, very elegant. So we had to re almost like retile the whole
Oh
kitchen, but
wow.
we did it in a way that we were able to use this sort of 4x8, um, looked like a rustic sort of whitewashed barn board veneer. So we had the carpenter come in and cut out all the sockets, and you know, so it takes it quite a bit. We often take away all the furniture and
Right.
bring in the furniture. We, you know, of course, if it's Christmas, we have to decorate the whole house with Christmas, and yeah.
So normally when I'm chatting with someone who's been in a Hallmark Christmas movie or just a movie in general, they say, "Oh, it's like, almost a little over 2 weeks of filming, like 17 days or something." Does that take into consideration all the work you've done, or do you go ahead and do all of that and then they start filming?
So we usually get, so most Hallmark movies are like, they do, you're literally filming, you know, 17 days straight.
Yes.
That's it. That's a
Yes.
Hallmark movie. You're lucky if you get 17. Sometimes they're 15.
Yes.
Um, but production, usually it's weeks. And typically we are also doing like some, I think we had 18. So
Gail, I'm not sure if it's my Wi-Fi or if it's yours, but we're frozen. I don't know. Could someone who's here watching tell me if it is, am I frozen too, or is it
oh,
just, oh, it is
okay.
you.
Sorry about
There
that.
you are. All right, go ahead, Gail.
Yeah, so sometimes we had two locations in one day. So it's really full on. It's the crew are, everybody's running as fast as they can basically. You're taking one set down, you're putting up another. It's like a checkerboard of production. You have to really be on top of every challenge. And especially
Okay.
for Christmas because, you know, it takes a long time to decorate a Christmas tree really well
It
and to do
really
garland
does.
really well and to put
Yeah.
snow in areas where there's no, often we're shooting in the summer, these things. So they're, you know, it's looking like a cold and snowy day outside, but everybody is literally melting. So
We've heard horror stories, people having to put ice packs on the bottom of their shoes to keep
it's it's
cool. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
insane. It's, I always feel sorry for the extras who are like bundled up and they're having to act cold. It's
you
really
do.
funny. Yeah, yeah, it's hilarious.
So now I am fascinated by, because we all know as Hearties, we love One Calls to Heart, and we're aware of what the set is really like. Like it's a real working farm, and we follow on Instagram and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, how in the world are they going to make these hot springs come about? And it's in the woods, so you literally are in the woods. So how did this happen? I mean, we found out how it happened on the show. They revealed that last night,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it was, a fissure because of the
Yeah.
the blow up of the mine. But how did you go about setting that up?
So it was a wonderful challenge last year. I loved it. I loved it. So here's what happened. So we read the script and we were like, okay, biggest challenge, we're going to do a hot spring. So we scouted. The first thing we did, of course, is you go out as a team and you scout location. Now, Jamestown, where it's filmed, we don't want to ever leave Jamestown. Like, we don't
Right.
want to all get in our vehicles and all drive and set up location. We really have to stay close. So the road, if you've watched this, as you know, the
Yes.
road that goes into the forest is a circle road. And so we found a plot of land, um, where basically it was 5 foot high blackberry bushes, the entire
It's true.
area. So it was, I mean, you couldn't walk through it. And what was great about it is it was right beside where the road was. So because you need to have road access for all the big trucks, all the, all the camera equipment, all the dollies and everything. You need it, no one, we can't march into a forest.
Right. Right.
So found the location. Again, it was a big piece of land, but it was blackberry bushes. So we first thing we do is excavate. We took it right down to the dirt, the whole entire thing. So then Sammy, who is the special effects guy, who's brilliant,
Hmm.
he and I started kind of like thinking, okay, how are we going to do these? Now we had to do. It's also far away from anything, so all the electrical, all of the sort of the everything has to
Yes.
be brought there.
Yeah.
And with the hot spring, we have to make it so that it was heatable and kept clean. So Sammy actually had a brilliant idea is to use, and he's a blacksmith. So he's like, what if we used containers, shipping containers? So brilliant, yes. So we cut in half a large shipping container. We cut it in two, and basically dug huge holes in the ground, and we flagged it all out and chalk
Hmm.
lined it. And I made I made a physical like 3D model of the entire site of where we were thinking of putting the holes, and where the logs would go and where the paths would go, just so that everybody, the DP, the grip, the directors could play with it and look at it to make sure that we were in the exact right position. Then we started digging and excavating. He cut this huge container in half. We literally lowered it down into the ground.
Wow.
And then and then he sealed it up completely. And then I hired this guy that I found off of, I think, Facebook, who does fountains, like
Yeah.
proper fountains at
Yes.
people's home, like rock fountains. So
Right.
he could do faux rock, because again, we had to have it heatable, cleanable, safe
Mm.
for the actors to go inside. I mean,
Right.
you saw that it's only this high, right? Like,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
only
Yes.
but we had to make it so steps were coming down, so it was easy to get in and out of. They could stand on the edges without it crumbling. So it was basically created like it was. He made a concrete. All the rocks were concrete. They were all faux finished by our paint department. And then the greens came in and started laying the dirt. Laying all the sod, the grass, and the wildflowers, and we put the moss around. And a lot of the rocks, the bigger boulders around the periphery, are fake. They're
Oh,
big,
okay.
fake foam boulders that we could rent. Some of them we purchased. And then we brought in lots of trees and lots of bushes and lots of wildflowers. And I mean, it just kept on layering and layering and layering and layering. And then, of course, you saw this last episode. There's now a sign there, which
Yes.
our fabulous art director created, Karen Wagner. And so it was just that, it was just the process. And you'll see as the season goes on, there's a few more little cute things that we add to the hot springs as it goes. But it was a massive endeavor. It really was. And then in between shooting it, we had to cover it up and make sure nothing gets inside. And then we actually had to put a tarp over it. And then we had to put wood over the tarps and then weigh those down so that animals
I was just thinking. Yeah.
didn't fall in,
Right.
or
Right.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. So that was quite the adventure.
Now,
But
how long was that process?
a couple weeks.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
mean, it was fast. I mean, we really, I mean, from beginning to end, I think it was maybe 3 weeks. And then, luckily, I mean, we put down the fake sod. We didn't want to like make it look too fake because
Yeah.
it could also look like a um, golf course if you're not careful. So then we really had to kind of add in weeds in between, and we really had to kind of make it look as organic as we possibly could. And it was also during the summer, which was very dry. So we had to really work on keeping it watered and keeping it
Yes.
growing. And then sort of toward maybe 2 months in, it started really looking beautiful. Everything started to, take. Everything started growing,
That's
and
it
yeah,
it's I'm loving it, and I was like, "How in the world can they make something that looks so real and it's not in the middle of this?" I'm like, I that was fascinating to me as soon as
well,
I found
thank
out.
you. I mean, I'm glad. Thank you. I'm glad you think it looks real. Like
It's
it was, it was hard. It was hard to, let people just also use their creativity and
yeah.
so the raw concrete guy. I mean, allow him to sort of not be too controlling and let
Right, right,
it
right.
kind of happen. So that was, yeah, it
Let
was
him
a
do his thing,
fun
right?
process. I've never done that before, and that was a good one.
I
Yeah,
it's wonderful. Thank you for that. We're loving it. We love it. Now, I also was thinking, I love how they had a fire last season in the saloon. So are you in charge of what that looks like? Is that
yeah,
that part
yeah,
of what you
yeah.
did?
That was my favorite part, honestly, because I came in on season 9, and the saloon was already the saloon, and
Yes.
I I had sort of secretly kept on going because when you come onto a show that's so
Yes.
rooted in history, you
Yes.
respect that and you respect the designers that come before you.
Right?
But at the same time, all I want to do is get creative. So we did the pharmacy, the season 9, which was really fun. That was my first kind
Amazing.
of like, ooh, I get to do a pharmacy.
Yes.
Um, and then you know, I don't know. I kept on dropping little hints like shouldn't can't we do the can't we do the can't we do the and so it was really fun that they sort of had to burn it down for me to get to play the next and it was Lindsay is our the showrunner
Right?
of last season and this season,
Yes.
and her whole idea with the saloon is it becomes less of a saloon, and as you're
Yes.
now starting to see, and more of the lobby almost of a hotel.
Yes. Yes.
And so the idea of the way the saloon was before, if you remember that the bar was in the corner,
Yep.
we inverted it so that it became more of like a pub. Almost like the reference was Cheers and all those where
Right, right, right.
people kind of gathered around. So we sort of inverted the and then added the balance at the top with lights. And sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't, but we actually did a sort of a fake stained glass at the top
Oh,
of the bar. If you look
okay.
closely, it looks like stained glass,
We'll have to be on the
like an
lookout for
old,
it.
yeah, like an old fashioned.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then we added, yeah, the murals. I love the big wall
Mhm.
murals and we were originally going to do it right on the walls, but because in between season,
Yes.
Jamestown gets used for
Yes.
other film sets.
Yes.
So we did them almost as big. They're canvas, but they're mounted onto wood that's framed that gets mounted on the wall. So they
And
can be
then you
taken
could take it
off
off.
and put back
Oh,
on. But a friend of mine is a painter, and after we printed those on canvas, he went on top of it and painted on top of it. So it has that quality that
it's
looks like
beautiful.
it's hand painted. Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
So
Will we, and someone had asked this question, I'm gonna put it up and you already answered it. It said, "Gail, whose idea was it to add the booths to the Queen of Hearts and the reservation desk?"
I think the reservation desk came out of. I think it came out of like a Zoom discussion. I
Okay.
think it was, oh, it's going to be a hotel lobby. We need So I think that came out of discussion. I think the booths were. I think it was Sarah and I kind of pitching that. I think that
Okay.
was kind of an idea that Sarah, the set decorator, and who's now the production designer, um, I think that came out of that.
Oh, that's wait a minute. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I didn't realize Sarah has an upgrade. Like,
Sarah
I'll have
got,
to.
yeah, yeah.
She didn't even say that. I because she
Oh,
put me in touch with you because I had said, "Hey, can you give me some idea?" And she's like, "Oh, that was Gail," and I was like, "Thank you." And that's how I went on the out for her. But I didn't realize that. I'll have to
yeah.
go back, or if she's here, she might be here, and you don't even know it. Congratulations to Sarah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, well
wonderful.
deserved, well deserved. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
It's great. Yeah, so she's now taken on that spot, and then Blake, who was her assistant, is now set decorator. So it's sort of it's
That's
beautiful. Yeah, it's
nice.
beautiful.
Aw, I
Yeah.
love that. Mary is saying, oh, now I will be looking at the hot springs more closely when they have scenes there, knowing how it was created. And it's true. It's like so fascinating. Now, there's one where, and maybe it was like, what is that called? CGI. I don't know. There's one where Jack, who was Bill, he sort of falls back into it. Is that one deeper or
No, no, it's deep enough that you could fall into it. I
back?
mean, I
Okay.
think it was maybe it's about 4.5 foot deep.
Okay.
It's not super shallow.
Okay.
So yeah, he really falls. He's in there. I think the
Well,
thing is that is CGI'd, and I'm sure it's spoiler alert. I don't think I'm giving away, but it's cool to see the making of things. Is
yes.
the waterfalls in the background? If you noticed on the first, they may not play it a lot, but
Yeah.
that is we did
Added in.
a rim of fake rocks, and in behind that was CGI
Okay.
waterfalls.
Because Sarah mentioned that to me that some of it was, but she didn't give me the details. And I didn't ask because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
asked one simple question, and whatever anybody gives to me, I'm very thankful. So,
Yeah, so that's you'll see next time you see the waterfalls, you'll go, and they did a beautiful job. I mean, I didn't even see it until it was on aired, so
right.
I never saw myself. So that was really nice to see how beautiful that came out. Yeah,
It is. And
yeah.
Lillian says, that is fascinating how the hot springs are created. And she says, wow, and bravo to
Oh, thank
you.
you, Lillian. Thank you.
This is funny. And I think I mentioned this too when we talked earlier. Cindy's saying it's affectionately known as the Hearties hot tub.
The Hearties hot tub.
You're saying it looks wonderful.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, it's
And
fun to see. Also, it's really fun to see everybody in their period costumes. Barbara does an amazing job with costumes, and
love
just
her.
just the way they dressed in their little and the
Yeah.
stripes, and
Yeah.
and we bring in some extra things throughout. You'll see that kind of give it that real quaint look, which yeah,
All right. We saw
it's
the
fun to see
bikes.
layered.
We saw the bikes so far. The kids are getting on the
Yeah,
bikes now. That was cute.
yeah, and the bike rental, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tony says, so exciting hearing the behind the scenes prep each set. You have to be so on top of it for the filming to take place. So she's giving you like, yay.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's a lot. You do. You have to, and there's so many different departments that you just have to make sure because we don't have a lot of time and a lot of money. I mean, when you have these big, huge productions that have a lot of money, you do have big teams of people, but we're quite a
Right.
small team actually, and so it is just about really making sure that we are all on the same page. We get approval as quick as possible. I did a lot of drawings for it. I did a lot of photoshopping and including the 3D rendering those the little
Little
model.
model and
But
stuff.
you have to, just because then you everybody's on the same page. Everybody knows what they have to contribute, and there's not really that many surprises. Then it's when we have that because you're set with the date when they're going to film.
And you got to
There's
be
no
ready.
like I need
Yeah.
another week. There's
Right,
no such
right.
thing as I need another week.
But
So
sometimes I don't, for me, sometimes that's exciting. I kind of like the excitement of knowing I have to get something done by a certain
yeah,
time.
it does.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Now, I have a question and answer only if you can. Will we see any other new spaces or rooms this in season 10? Like
Yeah,
we will. There are a
yes,
few more new.
yes.
Okay, cool. All right. That's I know, I get it, but
But
I'm
yes, there
I'm
are.
kind of suspecting at
Yeah.
least one new room. I've got my
Yes.
own little opinion, which I won't say here with you. But so we will get to see some
Yes,
more new
we will.
stuff. Oh,
It was a busy season. Last season was busy. I mean, it was almost like every script we did had
something.
some kind of major something.
Oh,
So yeah, it was really fun. It was really
I
fun.
love that.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just sharing some of the stuff that people are saying. Lillian says, "Love what you did with the saloon." They love the booths. The, Catherine is saying the saloon makeover is really great, good for intimate conversation and social interactions. Yes.
Well, a funny thing about the booths, because this is the learning curve. Oh, thank you. I love the color too. Thank you. The funny thing about the booths, we got these booths off of Facebook Marketplace, and when we picked them up, the backs were about this high,
Oh,
and the director, Andrew, the director of photography, came in and he's like, "Oh dear, like that." That's really limiting to have the booths back be that high.
mm-hmm.
So we opened them up. We kind of de-upholstered them. I don't think that's a word, but we
You made
opened them
it.
up and we had to cut the backs down and redo the whole bases.
Oh,
Yeah, but it worked. I mean, it got, then he got it at exact height he wanted, and it worked out perfectly. But yeah, Sarah and I thought we scored by getting these pre-made booths, but we didn't. I don't think we read the fine print on how high the backs were. It's just what happens.
it's all
You're
right.
so quick, you
Yeah,
know.
it's still
Yeah,
good. It still
yeah.
works.
It just
Yeah,
yeah.
we have some interesting things here. This is Gloria, and she says, less of a saloon, yes, and yet Elizabeth's aunt wanted to play poker with Lucas last week, which I thought was a nice flashback to the Queen of Hearts when Lucas first arrived. So it has a feel of it. It actually looks bigger to me for some reason, even though I know it's not bigger. And we've got the bar, we've got the conversation. They were dancing over on the one side, and then they had the big table down the middle, and then they had it taken out, and then they could play cards on the other part. So I'm like, yeah, and it really does look like the hotel, the entrance or lobby of a hotel. And
Yeah.
there was a funny line where Lucas, which is Chris McNally, there's a new little young boy, and he's moving the furniture around. He goes like, "Why is everybody moving the furniture around in here?" Like he
I
gets
know.
a
It is
little
funny.
upset.
Yeah, and we do change, like it keeps changing actually a little bit through the season.
Oh,
You'll see
okay,
we add a few more little, I think the idea that, and this is the writers now. This is where the writers and Lindsay and what they want to create, right? Like
right,
it comes from there, and whereas it gives the opportunity to create those little conversation areas, where
yes,
you're sitting and you can see over there, but you can't.
yes,
So that we do, you see that quite a bit now, and you'll keep seeing the little kind of pockets
good.
of
I like it.
like you would in a waiting, in a lobby.
Lobby room,
But we
yeah,
had to put the lobby and we had to keep the restaurant, of course, the
yeah,
cafe,
that
the
works.
saloon,
It works for us.
because they have to eat. And but we definitely create more lounge kind of seating, and as we continue.
This, I
It's
think,
fun to think of like what's upstairs.
yes, I wait, we all talk about that stuff. We are always saying what's here and what's there. We always I've done videos about all of that. So that's hilarious. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Tony is saying, and this is a nice compliment. I feel as though the saloon is almost a character on the
yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, right? I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it does feel like, well, I think location should be. I mean,
Hmm.
that's the way, as a production designer, I think about what how to create the emotion of a space.
Yes,
What
yes.
what is, and color makes a huge difference in that.
It does. That's
How
true.
it plays. A bright light, pastel is very different from a rich, deep dark. Like it takes on a whole different vibe. And I think we also talked about, well, it's Lucas who he inherited, right, the other place. So for him, what would Lucas do? He's, he's educated, he's refined, he's traveled. So, I think he would, yeah, the art, the part of the
Yes.
murals, and
Yeah.
that's something that you take from, if you go, you look at Europe and what they were doing back then, and pre, 1920, but they had a lot of that on the, they used art, um, more in their design. So we figured, okay, Lucas would do that. He would, yeah.
Have that in there. It's true. Just like when we had a glimpse a couple years ago to see into his office, and Sarah told me about all the little pieces, and she also did Gowan's office and just
Yeah.
the little things that are on the shelf. And I
Yeah.
would go in and say, "Oh, let's look at this and let's analyze this." It was so much fun.
It is. And it really is a team, right? Like it really, it does take a village to make a show, because everybody, you know, the littlest things, that the littlest pieces, you don't know why something feels right
Right,
or
right,
wrong, but it
right.
does,
It
because
does.
everybody's layered. It's all layers, and the props, of course, and what they're using. It's a big, group effort for
It
sure.
is. Starla is saying, my son worked for a faux rock designer for a while, and it's fascinating to hear how you use similar process to create the hot springs. And Jean is saying, you are so very talented. Love to hear about the background. Will you be doing the wedding? Oh, she's asking about the wedding. Don't say a word to that. I didn't even see that part. I would not. She snuck that in. I would not have
Oh,
even picked
that's
that
so
up.
funny.
Jean, you're bad tonight,
So funny.
Jean.
I cannot say one word.
You are right. You are not. You already told us your little thing.
But
You said
thank you very
yes.
much for saying that
Yes.
anyway.
No, you said yes. The compliment part was
Thank you.
wonderful. You
Thank you.
definitely said we will see new things and we'll just have to be surprised along the way, right? Yes. Oh, this has been lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so
Aw.
much. And I love how you're so dedicated. I mean, you even ran into a restaurant to talk to us.
I did. And they just broke a glass. Did you hear that?
Aw, aw.
And it's a really busy restaurant. I'm on Commercial Drive in a really
Oh,
busy part of town. So it's like I'm amazed they let me have this corner. But the background's cool. Do you like the
it's
background? I
gorgeous.
know. I love this. It's a great restaurant. Maybe
Are
I'll
you
see if
gonna
I have dinner.
are you gonna
I
catch
haven't even
dinner?
eaten. I just asked them for a glass of water when they
Oh,
came in. So
all
yeah, it's
right.
so funny. Where are
Thank
you,
you, Gail.
Roxanne? Where are you?
I'm from the States and I'm in New Jersey, but I'm Southern Jersey.
Okay, okay, like Jersey Shore area.
Okay, so when people say Jersey Shore, they tend to think of like the North Jersey Shore, which is very different than the Southern Jersey Shore. So I'm Atlantic City, Cape May, Wildwood,
Okay.
those
Yeah,
shores. Yes.
because I did a show where I did it was a renovation, like one of those vacation renovation
Yes.
shows, and I
Yes.
spent a week at the Jersey Shore, but it was the south part. It wasn't like the boardwalk crazy area. It was this
Right.
beautiful area down the south of the.
Strathmere, Cape May. My family has a home in Strathmere, so
It's
which is
beautiful.
near Sea Isle and between Sea Isle and Ocean City. So
Yeah,
yes,
it's beautiful. It's
yes,
beautiful
yes.
there.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Aw.
All right. This has been so nice.
Oh, well, I'm sorry I was a little late
No,
logging on,
you
but
were
it
fine.
worked. It
You were
worked. I was going to
perfect.
go in my car,
No,
and then I thought, oh
no,
no, this is
no, no.
better.
This is
So,
perfect. And
yeah.
you were very generous with your answers. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Enjoy the rest of the season. I think
We
it's going
will.
to be really fun. I
Oh,
loved it. I loved the
good.
season. Yeah, it's really
All right.
great.
Good. And
Okay.
we'll be in touch.
Thank
We'll be
you.
in touch. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you
Good
so
night.
much. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, everyone. Gail was amazing. So I'm flying solo tonight. I'm all by myself. Kathy is at a function, a work function. And oop, I'm seeing where everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. I know there were some of you asking questions about the nursery and things like that. So again, Gail said that yes, we are going to get to see new spaces, but of course she's not going to tell us what those spaces are because she can't, and it ruins the surprise anyway. But I'm with you. I definitely think that we will see a nursery. We are absolutely going to see a nursery. I have no idea what else we're going to see. I saw some of you over here are thinking maybe something with a wedding. I don't know. But I'm kind of excited because I'm hoping we get people are talking, and I don't know if you noticed this, but people are talking more about where they live in this season. Just like I mentioned this last week, and I don't know if everybody caught it. I loved when they were talking about Bill in his bathing suit, and Molly was saying that from her kitchen window she could see Bill's bathing suit out on the line. So now we know that Bill lives in one of the row homes, because we've always known that Molly has lived in one of the row homes. So I just find that so fascinating. All right, so I'm looking at all your comments. I want to be able to come back and share. I see a lot about Mrs. St. John. So let's talk about them. So Bonnie here is saying, I thought that Mrs. St. John's, which I think her name is Madeline, may be a girlfriend of Jack's, and that is their son, and she is coming for the land Jack bought that Elizabeth now owns. Bonnie, I don't think that Mrs. St. John, like, first of all, I don't think that When Calls to the Heart would have a storyline like that, because like that's a little out of what they want to do. I truly don't think I think she has something. She definitely is there for reasons that are mysterious. And before I even, you know what, even attempt to go into this made a note. I'm going to look at this. I love mysteries. So I'm going to show you my terrible handwriting and my crazy notes. These are my crazy notes. Mysterious. Okay. There's so much mystery in this season from right away. So in episode 1, and we're only in season 3. And by the way, this episode's my favorite one. So in the very first episode, we have this mystery that's still going on, that we don't know exactly what went down with Nathan and Faith. We still don't know. Little by little, we're getting pieces of information. I know that Kevin McGarry said that as the season goes on, you'll find out exactly what it was. But there's like a teaser, like every episode. Now we've got this mystery with Jamie, the son, St. John, and the mother, Madeline St. John. Like, exactly who are they? And she was on the phone and she's like, do you really want to do this? You know, they're really nice people here. So I like that we see that she's having a conflict already. So whatever maybe stuff that's going to go down that's going to cause an issue for the town, or a major part of the town, or a major player in the town, she has a conscience of some sort. It looks like she doesn't want to do whatever she has to do, which I like. That means that she's a redeemable character, unlike Mr. Smith, which we will talk about in a bit. And then the other piece of mystery that's happening is Rosemary. So Rosemary, and that's a whole other thing too that I'll have to get into, but Rosemary in that trunk now. But Rosemary in general, something's off with her. This pregnancy is causing her to be a little bit out of character, and they've done it so much. With the mention of her mother in the first episode, and then her uncertain feelings in the last episode, and then again in this one in that trunk. I really think that Kathy, my partner, she thinks that we're going to get to meet the mom. We're going to get to meet the long lost mother of Rosemary. I don't know. But what do we all think is in that trunk? Let's talk about that. What's in that trunk? Anyone? Let's see what we have here. Yeah, I see some really cool comments. Let's see. I think that there'll be a good storyline. I don't know. I think okay. You think that Mrs. St. John's Rosemary's sister? I don't think that Rosemary has a sister. I don't know why I thought she was an only child for some reason. I didn't think that she had a relative. I don't think, it is my opinion, and I could be totally wrong. I don't think that the St. John's have anything to do with Rosemary. I think that it has to do with the town itself. Maybe the land, after this is like an economic upturn for them, and maybe somehow, some way, the government has their hands in something, or someone owns something with these rights for whatever. I feel like it has something more to do with that, but I could be wrong. I was asking, what do you think is in the trunk? And Lillian saying childhood mementos, maybe, because she's like, that's in the past. Family pictures and heirlooms. Maybe when something comes out, it will be a link of something else, like maybe a family picture, and we'll recognize someone. Yeah, there are things that belong to her mother is what is in the trunk, and maybe things that belong to Rosemary as a child. I agree, Christina. I think so too. Or Christine. Yeah. Um, Cindy saying, I tweeted last night that items of her mother's are in the trunk. Okay. Maybe a photo album with mother and Mountie father, plus playbills and reviews of her performances. Okay. Yeah. Jan is saying, I wonder if the trunk has something that might have been connected to her time with Jack. It could be because they were very close. Yeah. And definitely, there's definitely going to be some more about her mother. I know it because they keep talking about it. It reminds me back in the day with the book. There was mention of a book, a book, a book, a library book in every episode. And then it was all about, how it connected Elizabeth to Lucas. I'm definitely thinking that we're going to either meet, like Kathy thinks, and I was like, no, we're not. We're going to either meet the mom or we're going to learn more about her. And I think that that's like a given, basically. Okay, so back to the St. John people. Um, First of all, Jamie is hilarious. Okay, did you see how when Bill put his arms out like this, Jamie put his arms out, and when Bill was standing a certain way, he stood a certain way. And someone in here lit this up, and I don't remember who it was, but they said they loved when he's asking if Bill was a cowboy, a real cowboy, and there was Lucas and Mike Hickam trying not to laugh. I love those two together. Mike and Lucas have some of the best hilarious conversations and little tiny bits together. And as actors, they feed off of each other. They have great chemistry in a scene. So I like those two and that budding relationship. And I love that Mike is now working in the lobby and in the hotel. I think that's really cool. All right, let's see. What do we have here? I think that Rosemary's face makes me believe it has something to do with her mother. Okay, that's everybody with the trunk. So this Madeline, what do you think? I know some people are saying they think they're related to Rosemary. I don't think they are. That's just my opinion. That doesn't mean you can't put it in there. Let's see what Margie's saying. Something is definitely up with the St. John woman. Not sure what someone is trying to force her to do. The only thing that we know, and I want to ask you this question if you got this feeling from it. The only thing we do know, whether it's the truth or not, is she has a son. They are currently from Philadelphia. My neighbors, Philly's not far away. They are also she's a widow. Her husband has died, and she says that he was a businessman, and she's checking on some of his businesses, which that's hilarious to me because back in the day they really wouldn't let a woman do that. But we know this is how we roll with One Calls the Heart, and I'm okay with it. So I'm wondering exactly if any of that's true. She acts like she doesn't know Bill, but she kind of keeps running into Bill. Do you think this is my question to you? Do you think she didn't know he was the mayor? How could that be? Bill is well known because he was a forensic investigator. He's well known. He's a judge. She has to know that he's the mayor. What do you think? Maybe she's connected to Bill's ex-wife. I don't know. They said, do you really want to do this? They're really nice people here. So what are you thinking? Maybe it's his ex-wife. When she says these are nice people, I had this strange thought that it could be Wyman. Oh, coming back, doing something bad, revenge wise. Let's see what Emily says. I think it's related to her late husband, and I wonder if someone is back blackmailing her related to the late husband. What if her late husband isn't dead? What if her late husband, like the boy thinks that the father died because he's away in jail and they don't want to say that. You know how sometimes kids think that? What if he's still alive? Well, I don't know. There's a lot of, ooh, who knows where this is going. Margie says, whatever it is they want her to do, she doesn't want to do it because she said the people were so nice. Jamie would like to stay in Hope Valley. Yes. And they talked about the hot springs. At first, I was thinking maybe there was something wrong with Jamie's health and they were there for him and he didn't realize it. But I have to tell you, that kid's a character. And I loved how Bill was in the middle of all those conversations and some of the things. I wrote them down because I wanted to say them correctly, but you saw my writing. So I love when they're talking about school and he's like, girls, I go to the top school. I go to the top school. in the area. There are no girls. And then Allie gets mad and goes, "What's that have to do with anything?" And Bill's like, "Nothing, nothing. It has nothing to do with it." He kept trying to smooth things over because he's not kind of, he is a snob. Yeah, Holly, I was thinking maybe with his help too, but he is a snob. And it looks like he has no friends. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Lucas because he says, "I always have to travel with my mother." Remember, Lucas had to travel everywhere and he loves reading books, and he has a hard time making friends. So I was like, "Oh, that's a little, that was funny." Let's see. Margie's saying, "I just knew that the mine explosion was what created the hot springs. It just makes sense. I did not even go there. I didn't even have time to think what was the reason for the hot springs." And I thought, how clever of the writers to think of that. By the way, I forget who wrote this. Did was on the tip of my tongue. Who was the writer of this episode? It was excellent. Whoever wrote this one did a fantastic job. It's my favorite. Emily says Jamie made Allie mad, and she was a rock star defending her Hope Valley family. Even Toby, he's like, "We have the best teacher in the whole universe." Like he was all into it. And who are Toby's parents? We still don't know. That's like a mystery. Yeah. Maybe she is linked to the governor. Mark B said that we would not like him when he leaves. Maybe. Yeah, we know he's up to something. Hi, Karen. Karen saying hi to me. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah. Jamie was even dressed like Lucas last night. I know. I know. I know. Jamie hesitated when he was talking about traveling with his mother, like he was going to say something else. Yes, you are correct. So that's why I feel like I almost wonder, is this going to be a new character and a new family, or is it something that's going to be long term for the season and then wind up getting resolved? So, yeah. And let's see, Arlene saying Madeline seems to be working with a prominent official businessman. The car she was driving was rather nice, and she's dressed very fashionable. And Jamie goes to a private school. Well, her husband, she said she's there looking at her husband's, businesses. And I don't know. We'll see. They definitely do have money because she says the gardener could barely keep weeds growing in her garden. I love that they had Allie leading the Hope Valley research team. She is book smart like her mother. And you know what else, though? She's also feisty like her father, uncle. I love it. I loved it. I thought, and I love how she's like, "I'm going to the library." And she's the one that came up with the idea. And then she goes and she tells this to Mr. I was going to say Martin. Why I'd always go to Martin, but it's not Martin. It's Gowan, and he's like, taking it all in. He doesn't want to hear it yet. He doesn't want to feel he's redeemable. I loved. Let's slide into that. I loved his conversation with Lucas. He was mad. He went in there and he's like, you bought my freedom. I wanted to pay back what I should have. He still feels like he has to suffer. And he's like, "Well, we don't want you to suffer." I loved when he said that even to Mike. And he's like, "I'm sorry. I apologize." And I love how Gowan like immediately forgave him. He tapped him on his chest before he turned away and he walked out. And I hope they hurry up and make him love himself. I do see in some promos that he does make his way into the church. He does. Brian Bird wrote this episode. The credits always say that, but I'm surprised because he doesn't always write. Well, listen, Brian, you did a fabulous job. This is excellent. Okay, who is it? Paul Redford wrote the episode. He's a seasoned writer and best known for the show West Wing. Well, loyal forever. Thank you for sharing that. And Paul did an amazing job. It's my favorite episode so far. Yeah, Margie's saying she loved it so much, and I'm really looking forward to next week. Some of the pictures seem to indicate that she might own property in Hope Value Valley. I'm agreeing with that. I really think it has something to do with the land, and it has something to do with how the Hope Springs are an economic, coup for them. Something that was supposed to did destroy lives and hurt people and kill people and whatnot, turned out to make something beautiful for them. So I think definitely she's connected with that. Yes, I think Martin Cummins deserves an Emmy or some kind of award for his acting. He is amazing, and his transformation over the season has been phenomenal. seasons. You are right, Mary. He is really good. He's really, really good. Um, Brian Shively. Hi, Brian. As a matter of fact, Kathy's not here. She's going to listen later, but she's like, "Where's Brian been?" She's been wondering where you've been. Brian Bird said there would be more about Rosemary's Mother later in season 10. Good. And I'm not surprised we'll get to know her some way, somehow, and more information. So I love it. I think Martin Cummins, oh, we heard that. They're agreeing with you. And I like Henry and how they have redeemed Henry. I've been watching season 1 for the first time. Oh, so Grammy Rose, you know how he was very different, but he always had a soft spot from day one. You really have to go back and relook. And when you rewatch, you're like, oh, it was evident that he really had a thing for Abigail, which they kept going along with. And then I think other things would have happened if Lori was still there. Okay, so let's talk about, all right, so we talked about Jamie. He's a hoot. I can't wait to see more of him. How about him with the bell? Ding, 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 ding. And then the two of them doing their little comedic partnership between those two. Like Ben and Chris are great together, and the eyes and the look that they give, and then they just took that bell and they stuck it underneath underneath the booth when you check in. I thought that was great. It was all such great stuff. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit. Let's talk about Elizabeth and Lucas in this episode. So in this episode, they were very much adorable. They were very tactile, very kissy. I love their kisses. A lot. They didn't have many scenes, but they had a lot. What they had in their scene was a lot. I love the whole cake. I love the whole I called it delicious cake kisses. At the end, I thought it was great because there he is pinning the note on the door for her, which is so reflective of their relationship. And she comes down and she sees it, and he's waiting for her on the porch. He has the cake, and it's from his past. And I love how even though we're not seeing Gustav is there, and Gustav makes the cake, which he made two, and it's from their past. It's a vanilla lavender cake, which, by the way, I have a recipe for if anybody wants it. It's like a white sponge cake, and we have a lavender tea that you add to the milk. So when you're making the batter, it's not just plain milk. It's like a lavender infused milk. It's very subtle. And then there's a syrup you make with lavender, and after it bakes, you brush it onto each of the layers. And then, do I have food all over me? Water. Oh my gosh. And then you make the icing or frosting. It's very good. It just takes a few steps. What did the note say? The note said, join me. It was just 2 words, join me. So they sit out there and they have their moment. And then he teases her. He's always teasing her. And I love that. And then they have the conversation about how Lucas was Mr. Poker Player. And this is how he wins Henry's freedom, right? And he says to her, are you okay with this? And she goes, I think I love you for it, because he's using some of his old poker ways, but it's a good thing. And how'd y'all feel about, okay, they really get rid of Mr. Smith fast to end this season. And I liked it, and I'm glad he's gone. I hope he's gone, right? But the conversation that he has with Mr. Smith, Lucas gives Mr. Smith the chance to redeem himself, and he doesn't. He's still a jerk, Jerk, jerk. And then Lucas comes up with this whole, gets Robert in with the mail and acts like, I don't have to tell you, we're recapping here, acts like it's something special, right? It's a letter that has been signed, a confession. And then Mr. Smith is like, gone. Did you feel it was a little anticlimactic of how they saved him? Did you think it would have gone a different route, or did you like it? Did you like that that's how they handled Mr. Smith saying, yeah? I like the part where Lucas said to him, if we had gone through this, that it really wasn't safe. We would have been liable, but he wasn't going for it. He's like, oh, no, you cost me a lot of money, both of us. So he talks about his grandmother a lot this season. Do you think we will see her? Maybe we'll see her at when they have their big wedding reception. I don't know. But anyway, I was wondering what you thought about it being anticlimactic, like how quick Mr. Smith was to say, yeah, no. Or did you like that? I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm curious to see how you felt. I put this on a post, but I thought of Kenny Rogers in The Gambler. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And watching Lucas's expression in this in the discussion with Jerome. Okay, this is true. Yeah. Okay. I like how they handled Jerome Smith. They didn't drag it out any further, which was good. Oh, yes. Very good. That's true. Starla's saying she thinks he'll have a I think he will be back. I have a feeling he will come after Lucas. Hmm. I don't know. I feel like all that espionage coming after everybody needs to just go and let's move on with some new storylines, you know? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I would like for that to be gone. One at Smith gone, so I'm okay with it. Okay. Paul is one of two new writers, not including Lindsay, the showrunner. Thank you, Brian. I will have to look up Paul. I will have to introduce myself and see if he's busy and what he's doing. Um, Lillian saying I liked it. It ended quickly, but much better than last season with with the abrupt end of Walden and Spurlock. Yes, it didn't have that same abrupt feeling. It had a better one, and it was all about And I like how they've been talking about. It wasn't just Lucas suddenly doing bluffing. It's been Lucas already was playing cards. There was already this bluff thing that already came with the aunt. So it was they're good at this season of just a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, not just something coming out of nowhere. Annie's saying the quicker the better. Yeah. Okay. Don't let the saloon doors hit you on the way out. I don't think Mr. Smith is going after Lucas because he will never know whether or not Lucas was bluffing. I know. Rose, Jack's land will be up this and I think Jack's land will be up this scene. You in this season, you think I don't know. Everybody keeps talking about Jack's land, but I thought they said something about Jack's land already before. I don't know. Let's see. I love how they handle Mr. Smith. He appeared to his better angels. That's true, but then he found out he didn't have any. Hmm. Okay. Let's talk about let's see. I did the Lucas and Elizabeth. I think I covered what I wanted there. I want to get into Faith and Nathan. I'm saving that because for me in this episode, it was like one of my favorite things. I loved the whole episode. Every scene, one after the other, the one with Bill and the kids. Bill, the kids are adorable and hilarious, and they're very good actors. Like I forget that they act. Like, and then after I go and look at it the second time, I'm like, these kids are fantastic. I love the whole thing with them getting together and pampering Rosemary. I loved all the little conversations. But before but Faith and Nathan were my favorite this time. I wanted to hold that over. I wanted to talk about, yeah, I know. Shh, Margie, don't say squirrel yet. Hold on. I wanted to talk a little bit about something that's bothering me and tell me if it's bothering you and if maybe I'm just being sensitive here. I know I keep harping on this, so I hope whoever's here is listening. Like powers that be, if they're here. Why is it that Molly and what is going on with Molly and Bill? I mean, now he's all like a little bit flirtatious with this Madeline, and you saw Molly way in the back watching. Like, what happened to Molly and Bill? Are we gonna do you feel a little uncomfortable? I don't want him to have a flirt. I don't want him to be flirting with somebody else until we've addressed Molly and Bill, right? I don't know. Let's see. I wonder if the St. John business have anything to do with the saloon hotel. Maybe he's a financial investor and that's what causes Lucas difficult issues in this season. I don't think Lucas has an issue with money. I don't think he's invested in his saloon. I don't think that's what that is. I think again it's more about the whole area. It didn't seem so abrupt because we saw the good that came out of it. An announcement wasn't made, but we experienced the news in the scenes between Henry and Elle and the one between Elizabeth and Elle. I don't you must be talking to each other and I'm not quite sure what is okay. All right, I'm just going through what people are saying. Wait, this is hilarious, but we're not there. I was again asking what you think about the whole Molly and Bill thing. Okay. Molly and Bill potential storyline went into the Hope Valley black hole. What, Lillian? I should have read that before I put that up. I don't want it to be in the black hole. Um, Grammy says, I don't care for the new lady. It would be a great storyline with her son and how he learns to get along with the other kids. Yes, I like that. If it was a kiddo storyline, I do that. And I do like that. And I think that will be it. Plus, there's going to be another storyline that has to do with whatever the mama is there for. Okay. Here. The funny, cute lines with Molly and Bill, I miss all that. But now we see that with Nathan and Faith. Well, that doesn't mean we can't see it with both. Okay. We can see it with all of them. All right. So I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Now let's talk about Faith and Nathan. Okay. So let me look at my notes. Did you notice a change in Faith? Did you notice that in this now, Faith is much more independent and assertive? Did anyone notice that about her? Like she really wants to be independent. Like she was really giving it to poor Nathan with the reins. I'm the one. It's mine. I give you permission, kind of thing. I really I'm onto that. People jump onto something else. Hello, stay with me. You got my mind I get sidetracked without Kathy here. So yes, okay, Miriam, you did notice it. I wasn't the only one about her being very independent. Yes, we knew that. But she really is. And I'm wondering, I know they did that for the character and to cause a spark between the two. I love how Nathan is taking it in stride, is being very good with it, but patient. But I think his patience are going to go. I feel like they're going to have these big explosive words, and then maybe it'll turn into something romantic, like a juicy, delicious kiss or something. But I love the whole like banter between the two. And then they add the dog. And something I noticed is that they're like when they if they I feel like they're going to get together. They're already like these separate pieces that need to be together in a family. Faith needs a family. Nathan has a family, but he needs more. He needs someone who's going to love him to pieces and want the best for him and dote on him and drive him crazy and insane. I always said that about Nathan. So, and then there's Allie, who has a fabulous father, but it would be nice if she had someone that, was with constantly with her, like a mother figure. And now they have a dog. So I feel like they're all these separate pieces. And then when they come together, they're going to make one interesting family storyline. And I am very excited about where this journey is going. I do wish we learned a little bit more about what's going on between the two of them or what happened in the past. But I mean, I loved it. Also, they keep mentioning Bandit. That's another thing they keep mentioning. We met the Bandit. There was the scarf, and he took it that was missing. They talked about the Bandit again. So I think she being Faith keeps insisting that it was just a kid. I think we're going to find the identity of the Bandit, whether it's somebody that is just a kid and Faith will be correct, or she'll be totally wrong and it'll wind up being a scary situation of some sort. So let's see. Jan's saying Faith is trying to avoid any romantic thing with Nathan because she may still feel that he is her patient. Maybe, but I think she wanted something. I don't know. Striped. Saying striped. She had okay. Um, she had this in early seasons, and then she became dependent on Carson. Good to have her sass back and love the dog. Yes, you are so right. She kind of like her character kind of changed and lost her way, and now she's got it back. And now there's no one to tell her anything. She's like her own boss, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. I love it. I love it. Faith is trying really hard, possibly just to keep her guard up because of her past hurt. Carson didn't fully appreciate her accomplishment and independence. This is true. But I think Faith and Nathan and Faith will be in trouble. Yes, there is. There's something, and he's going to have to save her, or maybe she saves him. Maybe they save each other. He could be injured in saving her, and then she turns around because she's the doctor and she saves him. Because I feel like their relationship is that they save each other. Do you know what I mean? They've been hurt for whatever reasons, both of them. Um, and they're cautious because she's a doctor and she has her reputation. It's hard being a female doctor. And then there's him with he has, a daughter he has to take care of and protect. I just think there's like, I don't know, it was just so much fun, the banter that was hilarious. And Kevin McGarry is so good with just the nod of his head and his facial expressions, and when he talks, you have to laugh. He's so good at that. Why did Nathan leave Faith to go chase after the squirrel? What if the bandit had gotten to Faith before he came back? Because it was in that direction. Like the dog was running in that direction. If he was coming back, he would have seen them because it was an open area. Remember the field that was by them? So I think he felt it was safe to do it. He was right there. He comes back and it's a squirrel. Is there a guy coming after in the season whom everyone is suspicious about? There is a guy. Did you see him in the promos? He's tall and he's dark. He's got like a little beard, I think. Yeah. Let's see. I think Nathan will understand women I think Nathan will understand women at last. I know he always says he doesn't understand. He does. It's just that I don't know, he's just a different communicator. Let's see. That's what someone was saying for that before. Okay. Um, Wait a minute. This is cute. I loved it. It's like she is going to take the reins on their relationship. Okay, so if there's something I haven't covered, I wanted to really talk about Faith and Nathan. If I had to do like my favorite for this episode, well, first of all, the episode was excellent. And if I had to pick my favorite, it would have been the interactions between the two of them. I really loved it. I'm enjoying the mystery of what's going on with the St. John's, the mystery of what's going on with um, Rosemary and her mother, and what happened with Nathan and Faith. I'm loving that. One of the things that I didn't talk about that I thought was so touching is during and almost like foreshadowing is during the baby shower, how they were encouraging Rosemary. And we know Elizabeth was doing that for her. But I love what Minnie did with the candles. And she says, when they're lit, we're all together. You know, you're not alone. And it looks like that Rosemary's going to have a tough labor. Her blood pressure is really high, and she's asking for her husband, for Lee to be there. And I love Lee bonding with these are spoilers, so close your ears if you don't like to hear spoilers. Lee bonding with Lucas even more. They're downstairs and he's like, I've had so many things with Rosemary. I've done, had excitement, and they show flashbacks, but he feels so helpless for her, and then she's calling for him. I like that. I think it's going to be an outstanding episode. It's just getting better and better and better. Thank you, Lindsay, for that, the showrunner. Okay. If there's something I missed, please let me know. And while you're all putting that down, if there's something you wanted to talk or notice, I see some people are putting some things. Let's see, I'm going to highlight that and highlight that. But I want to give you a time frame. So wherever you are right now, for me, it's 9:12. So when it is 14, I don't know, 14 after, wherever you are, if it's 8:14, 9:14, 7:14, whatever it is, this is for you to win the prize. This is the close up. What is that? But I'm waiting for the first answer at 14 after. Okay. So what is that? I'm going to keep that for a while. And why I'm doing that. Who would you guys say is the MVP of this episode? Great question. I would like for you to put that in the box. Who is the MVP of this episode? I like that. Did you notice how Nathan looked at Faith when she saw the beauty of the field? Oh, yeah. Thank you for saying that. I forgot that. That was great. Both commented they had never noticed before. Hint of romance, and that field has something to do with the plot. Listen, yes, it does. And the whole woods in the area back there, something's going to go down. But I absolutely, we know that this is the couple. This is the couple that they're going to put together, which I love. You think that Rosemary has a life-threatening episode? I think she's going to have a rough pregnancy, but I feel like there's something else that might be life-threatening besides her delivery. I did love Minnie's idea about the candles. What a wonderful way to show their support for Rosemary. It made me cry, actually. I really enjoyed your podcast. You treat all characters fairly in discussion. Well, Grammy Rose, thank you. But I have to tell you, I love them all. And, I didn't talk about Kayla, which is Fiona and May. I didn't talk about them. And even though they're in my mind, and I thought they didn't have major parts, but what they did was hilarious. And they played so well off of each other. Even Florence, like when she was there with Molly, they all have their little pieces. They're so into character, but I'm loving the girl relationship between May and Faith and I want to say Kayla, but it's Fiona. I always get their first name mixed up. They're all just so good. Even if they're only in a scene for a few minutes, they're never out of character. They're not just like in the background. And I can't wait to see what's going to be happening with May. She kind of and Fiona. I thought Fiona was going to get a big storyline. Come on, Fiona. I want to see what's going on with you, girl. Jack said that Bill is going to pursue the St. John lady romantically. Huh? No. I don't. No. No, Brian. I can't hear those words. I can't read them. Everybody's saying Lucas is the MVP. Lucas is the MVP because he cleared Henry. Okay. Well, I really think, like, for me, the MVP is someone who steals the episode. And I'm sorry, but that young man who plays Jamie, I felt like he stole the episode. He annoyed Lucas and Hickam with the bell. He was funny, moving the furniture around. And then he had great scenes with Bill and then the kids and the kiddos driving them insane. I even Henry Gowan, he went to him and he said, I'm a visitor. And he goes, I live here. So he tells him to go get some ice cream. Just matter of fact, I don't know. I thought that character, Jamie, he stole the episode. That's what it is for me. A lot of you are saying Lucas because of Lucas, saving saving Henry. Okay. So who's the first at 9 4? What did I say? 14? Okay. 9:14. Miriam, you said it's May skirt, and you are right. Okay, Miriam, I'm writing your name down. Miriam, and I've been really good with these. I've sent out the prizes right away. I try to make it around the episode if I can, or I send something that, goes with it. I'm going to remove it. I have to tell you something really cute and funny. I put it on Instagram, the close up, and I put it on Twitter just to get other people to see it and maybe they'll want to join in with us. And Barbara, she sent me a message and she goes, I'm curious, what's the challenge? Because that's May's skirt. And I said, I know. Of course, you would know it was May's skirt. And then I had to share with her what it was. It was funny. She saw it and she wanted to know what it meant. Okay, what do we got for new comments? May skirt. Lucas is MVP. A lot of Lucas people are saying that he's the MVP for saving Henry. I told you that I like Jamie because he touched on so many storylines and did so many funny things that linked into the others. Boo, that they didn't finish the Bill and Molly story. Oh, Grammy Rose, they're not done. We got to figure that one out. In the Facebook interview, Kayla said that Fiona will open up to her personal life this season. I can see it. I can see it where the girls are, rooming together, having a girl night, maybe talking, and we get more about her because she's already shared a little bit when I think she was with Faith and they were in the having like a little cocktail by the fire after hours in the barbershop a couple seasons ago. Yeah. Yeah, Grammy Rose says that's true. He's a good actor. Yes. I think the kid was very good. He was. Why wouldn't Jamie go to the library with the other kids? Because he's like, I'm not allowed to study with other children. You know what I mean? He's still got his little uppityness going on, especially because she's a girl. You know what I mean? Like he's used to girls don't, know what go to school with the boys. I think that's what it was. What happened to Anna? She was living upstairs at the cafe, and now the three ladies are living there. Everyone asks that. if you remember, she was only there temporarily. She said that she wanted to work a little bit before she went off to school, and her mother was still getting settled, but she was going to have to go stay with her mother while her mother was getting settled in the new town or city. But she didn't want to do that. She wanted to stay in Hope Valley. When Jamie told Henry he hoped he didn't have to spend too much time in prison, Henry really appreciated it. I know. Thank you for saying that, Lillian. I forgot. And it was so cute when he ran next door to go get some ice cream. Yeah. Yep. Anna is off to college. Let's see. Will there be another election since Bill kept saying acting mayor? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, 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 maybe. All right, this has been amazing. Thank you. Thank you to Gail Taylor for being our guest. It was so great to hear like all the little tidbits. It makes us want to go back again and watch the episodes with different eyes. She did do all of the production sets in season 9 too. So, and isn't that great that Sarah, if you follow Sarah on Instagram, that now she has that position. If anybody wants to go say congratulations to her, I think I'm gonna when I get off, I'll do that. Yes. All right. Those of you that are Chris McNally fans and you are part of our fan page, we have a gathering this weekend, and those that are attending, we're going to go live, and we'll get to say hi, and you'll get to see myself and the 2 other admins, and we'll also get to see the guests that are with us. What's this here? Yes, Emily is played by the same young girl. She's grown so much as has Opal. Yes, they are. Yeah. Karen's saying that the MVP for her is Rosemary. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful recap. It's the best way to relive the episode aside from watching the episode, of course. Gloria, you're like my new best friend, Gloria, because you're agreeing with me. Christina's excited. So am I. And Cindy's saying, I wish I could be there, but I'm glad you'll be live. Yes, you can all come join us. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. See you later.